Live stream is rolling. Are we recording? Nope, let me record. All right, we're recording, so we should be good to go. Joni, Jill, Maggie, Eric, Sydney, Rhonda. No fireflies. You can't send your firefly here. India, the OC, iPhone, Kathy, Melanie. Let's get cameras on. All right, let's do positive focus. Everyone has to participate in positive focus. So either you go to the chat and you share your best thing last 7 days, something you're proud of, grateful for, production related, or if you're super brave, you just unmute yourself and share what is great in the business. And we do this not necessarily to brag, but for those of you that are having a tougher time right now, I just think it's fuel and inspiration, right? So let's share some good news. Everyone has to participate. Nobody's immune to this. All right, Karen says, started a serious time block that I find helpful. Yeah, time blocking, it's like the only way I know how to be anywhere or do anything is if my calendar tells me so. All right, who else has got a cameras on? And who else has got a positive focus? Everyone needs one. Joni's taking a sip of something good there. I like it. Getting ready to share an awesome positive focus. She's just thinking of it. I can see the smoke coming out of her ears. Joni Bamford Moore, picking on you. I know you can handle it. Sohail's got a positive focus. He's going to post it in the chat or just unmute yourself.
It's not real estate related, but I was so excited and so happy yesterday. It's got nothing to do with real estate, but my attitude, I don't know, being excited and happy and lighthearted, it really does a lot for you. I entered my cat with the favorite cat for those magazines, and I just put him in there, and he was in number 6, and then he jumped to number 3. He's a ragdoll cat, and I put a whole bunch of pictures in, and I got really on board on that. I was so excited. I had all the energy I didn't think I had. So what you do and how you feel and what you're doing has a lot to do. And I'm just telling you, I've been really dragged down because of my real estate. I've been doing this since 1988, and I've never experienced a market like this. So
All right. Well, we're definitely going to get into to helping you today with what we're going to be covering. So,
yeah.
I love that. Definitely mindset is everything. I think it's like 100% of success in business, if not 105% of success. And Wally's going to cover that some today as well. 6 under contract this past week, set 3 qualified listing appointments closing yesterday, 3 more next week. And I thought homes didn't sell in the cold in Chicago. Sohail, I don't know what's going on there. Sohail will kick down the front door.
Mindset, which we're going to cover today, you said.
Yahoo!
100%. Justin, 2 listings coming on this week today. That's awesome. All right, everyone share your positive focus in the chat or unmute yourself if it's juicy and good and you want everyone to hear it. Troy, I haven't seen yours yet. I know you're typing it. Who else?
I can share something.
All right, who's that? Josh, what do you got?
Josh. I had a listing call before I went on vacation, and I gave the phone number. We had a really good conversation. I gave the phone number to my business partner, but I had the area code wrong, so they actually never even connected. And then I got home from vacation, and I talked to him. He's like, "Yeah, I couldn't get a hold of her." And so I called her, and she's like, "Yeah, your business partner never called me, but I had such a good call with you that I just thought I'd wait till you get back from vacation." And I signed the listing yesterday. So
nice.
Usually that never happens.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like instant gratification. People are like, just like next.
Yep.
They're going to use their next door neighbor who's an agent. That's awesome. All right. Client event planned for next month. Sponsor secured. Awesome. More consistency with touch-based calls last 10 days, getting good results. Yeah. Andy, it seems like every time if it's like, oh, you picked up a listing or you work or you're doing whatever, it's like, hey, how'd you get that? It's just like, well, I just reached out to people that I know, and I just did it more consistently or whatever. Met clients at open house under contract that same weekend and listed home within the next week. multiple offers ratified. So 2 deals, 1 open house. Mike, is that correct? Sounds like it. New listing, I think 2024 is starting off really good in most markets. Yeah, I think my gut tells me 24 is going to be, I talk to a lot of agents these days, and it seems like 22 sucked a little bit compared to 21, and 23 sucked a lot compared to 22 or 21. So hopefully this year we'll be back to, I don't think anyone should just hope the deals come in. I think that's what caught a lot of agents with their, not prepared for what happened with interest rates, and they were out of habit with time blocking and new business development and all that. But all right, new listing today. I'll cover that one. Brandon, I'm gonna have Brandon on in maybe March or April. $2.5 million listing went on the market yesterday. But I gotta slow you down, Brandon, when you come on and we kind of spotlight your business, because your brain thinks too quick and you're just too smart. So gonna have to slow you down. We'll do an autopsy of your business and how you've been crushing it. All right. 3 mentees had closings in the last 30 days. That's awesome. 2 of them had multiple closings. That's freaking amazing. God is good. God is great. My goal, 2 listing appointments each week, 2 listing appointments last week, 2 this week. Troy, was that out of the Chris Colgan YouTube thing that I shared? Or no, you just decided you're going to do 2 listing appointments a week?
A few weeks ago, we talked about goals. I don't remember who was the featured guest. It might have been Chris Colgan, but
Yeah.
I
I'll take full credit for it. But he did this YouTube with a girl that, like, it was her first year in real estate. She's like, I'm going to go on 2 listing appointments every week, and I'm going to sell 52 homes, doing that one thing. And
yeah,
so
and
that's awesome. So
I decided that was good, so I did that.
yeah. So essentially, so what are you doing to generate? I mean, are you just like kind of honing in on people that will send you business, or they're connected, and just reaching out to past clients in Sphere? What are you doing to generate that activity?
Past clients in Sphere, every day I spend 2 hours on the phone and just try to have conversations with people, and I'm just committed to 2 listing appointments a week.
Man, that is like, I think everyone should have that commitment. Maybe you're going to slow roll it and say only 1 listing appointment a week. But when you do the math on 52 listing appointments, you've got a good listing process. You'll get what, 35, 40 of those, and 25, 30 will sell. And that's before you add on any buy opportunities, right? So man, I love that. You better come on every one of these Tuesday calls, and we're going to get an update on those 2 every week for how many weeks left here? 47, 46 weeks. Can you commit to that, Troy?
Yes,
All right. Awesome.
cool.
I love that. Anyone else going to commit to 2 listing appointments a week? Or at least the mindset that you're going to figure out how to go on 2 listing appointments? Everyone raise your hand if you're in real estate. Jim Fury's not committing to it. He's like, screw it. He's like, I like my developers, my investors. I just think it's a good mindset. I love that. So this is not a sustainable strategy, but I'll share it anyway. Scott Stone says, dial the wrong number and got a $1.2 million listing lead. Talk about cold calling. That is amazing. Yeah, if you can repeat that, that'd be awesome. Nathan said, being present in the moment versus being distracted by reacting to everything else has been a huge game changer. Yeah, on the real estate team, we used to call it like herding cats, so like if we could just focus, you know, for a few hours every morning on like, okay, you have to sit in a chair and you have to generate new business for as many hours, minimum 3. Doesn't have to be cold calling, but just sit there and focus, and avoid the distractions. Put the phone away and just focus on generating new business. You will be successful. You will figure it out. Nathan, anything, you've done this game at a high level for a long time. Anything to share around that?
Yeah, I think sometimes like your recovery never happens because you're trying to always react to how everything comes at you, and there's no way to keep up with your reaction. And so, I ended up getting pretty sick when I was in Canada on a snowboard trip, and I just did some brainstorming, and I was like, I'm always reacting to what's coming at me. And I think I did a damn good job on multitasking, but it's destructive to your mind, to your health. You never feel like you're caught up. So I made a choice that when I got back home, that I'm going to turn my phone off in meetings. And so like I've been having one-on-one meetings with everyone on my team, and they're like, man, you've been really attentive. Like we're covering a lot of great stuff, because I'm turning my phone off, because typically my phone's vibrating in my pocket, and I was being rude. I was like, give me a second, let me get this real quick. Hold on 1 second. Right. And I stopped doing that. I was like, man, my meetings have been so much more intentional. And I even looked at like my kids. I left my phone in my car and spent the weekend with my son. My wife was out of town, and he was like, Dad, I really had a great weekend. And I said, well, what do you think the difference was? He says, well, typically every time we stop somewhere, I have to wait in the car for 15 minutes because you're doing business. And he said, you weren't on the phone at all this weekend. I had more quality time with him over the weekend in 2 days than I think I've had in 3 years. And it just, my whole world's changing because of it. And I'm actually becoming a better business owner and more intentional, because I'm removing the distraction and realizing you can't react to the pace that things come at you. And you physically cannot get to it all the bigger you grow. And it's okay if you can't, because if you're intentional, the things you're focusing on, you're going to get more done, you're going to have more time, and you're going to have better results. So just changing the whole way I look at business. And I think as you get older, you start realizing what's the most important too. And it's not taking away from our business. In fact, I think it's adding to it. We're well ahead of schedule on our production levels this year, even though we had a great year last year. And the intention is surely there on a different level for me this year.
Dude, that's awesome. You make me emotional hearing your story. I think a lot of times agents just think like, man, the most important thing is just to be on the phone, and you can't miss a call and all of that stuff. It's amazing. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
And the personality type, I mean, you legit struggle with focus, right? So, I mean, for you, it's almost like life or death to eliminate stuff. Like if you're going to be focused on one thing, you physically have to eliminate stuff from your environment, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big change.
Awesome. 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 All right, cool. A man among men, straight baller. So let's get to the man of the hour. So, this actually came, I don't know if Megan's on here. But I've known our men of the hour here. Let me spotlight. Do I spotlight or pin? I think I spotlight. So Wally Bressler. So let me intro. I'm going to intro Wally in general, and then I'm going to say what kind of drove this call here. So I've known Wally for a long time. I think since 2009, maybe. Yeah, so a long time. Wally trained me on like, you won't find a more introverted, awkward salesperson. Like, hey, this is the script. Yeah, you say the words like this, just don't overthink it, do the work. And then as I was scaling, Wally was, training my team on lead conversion as well. But most recently, and I think I'm just learning more and more that a lot of agents struggle with just fear around the phone, and it comes from some deep stuff. Like, so we had a call for Real Estate B School. We do lead conversion clinics every Thursday, and Wally's our lead conversion coach. And the team actually sent me the beginning of this call, and they were like, is this okay that this happened? And I think it was more of a cultural thing with Annalise, bless her heart, she's on here. And just went really deep with one of our members. Like, she just shared that, she has no problem going out and taking a $22 million listing, an $8 million listing, a $5 million, and a $5 million on expired luxury. We have an expired luxury program, and no problem, like knocking on a $22 million house. She said just this week, Wally, she's no problem knocking on doors. But then, she heard a couple of friends of hers overheard them talking about real estate, and she was instantly paralyzed. Like, she didn't even know how to bring up the topic of real estate, because she was like, just had this fear around what would they think of her, or whatever happened and triggered inside her body. And so that's like a dramatic example. Someone that can knock down the front door of a $22 million listing, like literally lock and say, hey, listen, I'm Megan, I'm going to sell your home, but can't have a conversation with somebody that actually knows her and knows her heart. And so listening to the interaction that Wally had with her was the thing that kind of motivated me to bring Wally in to share his unique gifting with all of you. So Wally, I'm going to take myself off of spotlight. Do a couple minutes, not too long, on your background, and then you've kind of already shared the agenda with me. I want everyone to be super active in the chat. And Wally, call everyone out. And do you guys struggle with it? Do you struggle with this? Give me your feedback. Give me your feedback. Let's make this like really, really interactive. And for some of you, this is going to change everything for you. And so I really want you to dig in. And for some of you that maybe this is an easy thing for you. If you ever bring another agent into your world, the reason why there's this like catastrophic failure rate in real estate is what I think is this topic here. People are just fearful around letting others know that they're in real estate and they can help them. So while you've got the stage, do a quick intro and then let's get after it.
Sure. Thank you so much. Lots of familiar faces here. Nice to see you folks. Haven't seen some of you folks in a long time. Good to see you. Love you all. I have the good fortune of working with Lars's team on a weekly basis, so we've been able to make some great connections. You know, the Reader's Digest version, I've been in the real estate industry for 26 years. I've been coaching agents for 23 of those years. You know, I sold 72 houses in my first 14 months in the business, and then I helped grow one of the biggest coal banker franchises in New Hampshire. Yes, New Hampshire actually has people, and we don't just snowmobile around. So, you know, I've had the good fortune. I think last year I had I finished my 50,000th coaching call, live training. So I've done about 50,000 calls and trainings. I've published my own book. I co-authored another book called Six Figure Agent. You know, I was nominated as one of the Success 125, which is 125 most impactful people in real estate who get results. You know, that's all the good news. That's great. Almost all of that's happened in the last 4 years or 5 years, however, because, you know, the reason I've been able to help people with call reluctance is because I suffered from it for 10 years. And, you know, I suffered for basically for 45 years or so, 45 years. I was addicted to pornography, sex, food, and money. Sexually abused. Parents, you know, would send me to dinner without, you know, to bed without dinner. Started looking at pornography at 11, started having sex at 12. You know, really set me up for a really bad life of making very bad decisions. I've blown millions of dollars. I was unfaithful to my now ex-wife 4 times. You know, I met a woman about 2014. You know, super toxic relationship, just felt I couldn't be loved by anybody and nobody would ever want me. So I hung around for the longest time. And then I finally had to break up with her. And I found out about 3 days after I broke up with her that she was married the entire time we were together. And so that was kind of like the final bad decision in a whole litany of bad decisions. And, you know, a month later, I decided I was going to take my own life, and I did not. But, you know, as far as hitting rock bottom is concerned, I hit it. You know, you can hit rock bottom and you can splat. You can hit rock bottom, you can bounce along, or you can hit rock bottom and you can bounce. And I chose to bounce. And in bouncing, so to speak, I've learned a lot about, you know, why people aren't able to pick up the phone, you know, and I kind of, you know, in my opinion, and not my opinion, my experience, you know, call reluctance has lots of, and sales reluctance has lots of different looks. You know, basically it's, you know, an emotional response centered around hesitation, avoidance, or fear of cold calling a prospect. Most often at the start of relationship, studies show it tends to work as a social disease, leaving those dealing with it in an emotionally uncomfortable state, okay? So if your mouth gets dry, if your palms get sweaty, if your pits get sweaty, if your heart starts pounding, you get sick to your stomach, you feel like you got to go pee, that's just your body without your permission kicking in for its fight or flight instinct. And for people who have call reluctance, it is a flight instinct, okay? Does it without your permission, you know. And, you know, there's this philosophy called innatism that states, and it's unproven, that, you know, we are born with you know, some thoughts and some belief systems and some positions. I don't buy it, but, you know, here's the thing: we're not born with, in my opinion, just from what I've learned, we're not born with any thoughts. All that stuff's formed over time, right? We're born with, you know, a protection mechanism. We're born with a negativity bias, meaning, you know, we have our reticular activators there to keep us alive, right? For most of us, we pay attention. Some people don't pay attention, you know, but we're supposed to avoid the stuff that kills us. Some people don't do that, right? But the whole point is, you know, something happens between the time we're born and the time that we're 12. And it's usually by the time we're 7. In fact, who we believe we are and what we think we can do is pretty much formed by the time we're 7 and locked in by the time we're 12. Okay. And so my studies have shown me that there's basically 4 areas where things get triggered that can create basically this trigger, this flight response or this freeze response. And then essentially by doing that, we just reinforce it for the rest of our lives. Dr. Don Wood out of Florida, he's a certified counselor. You know, he says that what happens is we get coded, our brain gets wired by something that happens. And so look, you could have been sexually abused, emotionally abused, or physically abused. Okay. So, you know, trauma, right? Somebody could have died when you were very young and nobody explained why they died. I've worked with people whose family members got lost at the carnival for 3 or 4 hours and it just freaked them out. Right. And it can be a singular event too. It doesn't have to be, you know, I was only sexually abused one time, but that's enough. Right. It could be that you were bullied. You could have been made fun of for your size. You know, unfortunately, girls have huge body image challenges, not just by what people say to them, but how they look at themselves. I was bullied, you know, mercilessly. You know what I'm saying? I was overweight for most of my childhood. You know, there's a woman I worked with here in Dallas who was made fun of because she wore dress shoes to gym class one time. And she became this ridiculous perfectionist and had to have brand name cars, brand name clothes, $5,000 purses, hair extensions, nails, eyelashes, skin treatments, teeth whitening all the time because she didn't want anybody to judge her. The only problem with perfectionism is what? No such thing, right? And Tony Robbins calls it what? It's a strategy for failure, right? You're guaranteed to fail. So there's that. Then there's also, we have these hidden identities we believe about ourselves. Like I grew up poor. Nobody told me I grew up poor, but I could see the other kids had Levi's and I had Tufkins. I could see other kids had Timberland boots and I had whatever was at Montgomery Ward. I could see that all the other kids went on vacation, went skiing. I could, you know, vacations we sat at home. You know, and then my lunches, I could see my lunches were different than everybody's. Anybody remember Cowtails, those like long chocolate candies with caramels? Okay, the kids used to have those. I'm like, Mom, can we have those? She's like, we can't afford those. I'm 55 years old. I have still not had one. I cannot bring myself to have one. I don't know why. I do know why. And then lastly, there's parental and adult influences. And here's what I mean. If you had a parent that was an alcoholic, they could not pour into you the way you need to be poured into by a parent. Okay, they're emotionally unavailable. In fact, when you suffer trauma, you know, what happens is you stop growing emotionally or whatever in that area. So I was sexually abused at 10. You know, I was not able to have a mature relationship with a woman because at that time that trauma happened and I stopped growing emotionally in that area. Does that make sense? So if you had any trauma, like, you know, and you know, when the fear kicks in, you know, you keep, you know, like basting a turkey, you keep basting that fear and growing it and strengthening it. And so parents who were alcoholics, parents who were absent, parents who got divorced before you were 12, you know, if you had parents that said things to you like you were a bad boy or a bad girl, you got hit a lot. You got yelled at a lot. Here's one that I found out a year or two ago. If your parents never fought with each other, they did you no favors, right? You got people whose parents never fought and then they go out into the world and they get feedback from people. And they're like, I don't like that. So anyway, those things happen. It triggers your fight or flight response. And then you go into avoidance, okay? And so, you know, T. Harv Eker out of Canada says it's thoughts, feelings, actions, results. You get triggered. There's a trigger that happens. And then there's supposed to be an emotion that comes up, but what happens is when we get scared, we avoid that emotion and we go right to action or inaction and we get a result we don't like, right? Now, for some people, it's procrastination, perfectionism, whatever. Oh my God, look at all the laundry I have to do. It could be anything like that. For some people like me, it was food, it was sex, it was pornography. Some people it's drugs, it's alcohol, whatever. Anything that takes you away from doing the things you need to do because there's a fear-based response is an avoidance strategy, right? But here's the thing, you know, you can't go to the gym consistently. You can't stick with a diet. Your calendar is terrible. You keep dating the same people who are bad for you. You know, you keep engaging in any avoidance strategy. That's all the same thing. Anything that causes call reluctance also causes that. Is that fair? Right? So the good news is it's not your fault. Okay? Not your fault. You know what I'm saying? You don't know at the age of 7 that, when your parents should have said to you, hey, honey, it was okay that you made this mistake, you know, instead, you know, nobody did that. And here's the thing. A lot of people grew up in families where your parents, if you did something good, they were like, hey, you were supposed to do something good. And when you did something bad, you were hammered for it. Anybody know what I mean here? Right? You did a good job. Oh, you were supposed to do a good job. You did something bad, you know, man, I'll never forget. My mom was a teacher and I wrote a paper late for history in 8th grade. I got grounded for a month. You know, so that was, and so that creates the need for approval, the need for acceptance. Does that make sense? And so when you don't think you're going to acceptance, when you don't think you're going to get approval, you're going to avoid whatever happens at all costs, because at the end of the day, it means rejection, right? Do me a favor and just type a 1 in the chat if any of those things happened to you when you were a kid. I'm just trying to take a survey here of, don't have to tell me what it was, but just put a 1 in there if any of these things happened to you when you were a kid. I'm going to say, I mean, I'd be surprised if it's going to be a lot of you, you know what I'm saying? Because while our parents are good people, they're just not good parents because their parents probably didn't teach them how to do that, right? You know, and you know, it's funny, I was talking about Don Wood. He tells a story and he says, these 2 girls are looking at a tree and the tree's branch had fallen off. And the little sister asked the big sister, she said, hey, you know, why do you think that branch fell off? And she said, it was the tree's environment. It was always meant to fall off. Where that tree was planted based upon the weather conditions, the soil and everything else, that branch was meant to fall off. And so all of us, based on our environment as children, we're meant to be exactly as we are here today, because that's how we got formed and coded when we were children. You with me? Okay, so it's not your fault. But as Will Smith said in his video, fault versus responsibility, it is your responsibility to take care of. Because the bad news is it's not going away on its own. It will never go away on its own. And even worse, the longer you leave it unattended to, the worse it gets. Okay, and the worst things that get left unsaid, unattended to go, they can cause extreme anxiety, they can cause depression, they can cause PTSD and even suicide. Okay, you know, my weight was over 500 at one point. You know, I was looking at pornography while I was driving. I went into and lied about a cheeseburger to my ex-wife. You know, I mean, I was a mess, you know what I'm saying? Because I just had so much fear and I was doing anything I could to avoid it. So here's what it looks like and it could be any one of these things: fear of prospecting, strong emotional responses like anxiety, panic, dry mouth, upset stomach, lightheadedness, procrastination when it comes time to prospect, being a perfectionist and delaying prospecting because things still need to be perfect so you can call, fear of calling past clients in fear of recruiting people to your organization, fear of moving a call forward to deal with and handle objections, fear of negotiations for yourself and others, fear of talking about money, especially commissions, fear of the feelings of inadequacy, imposter syndrome, doubt, guilt, and shame, either before prospecting or after not prospecting as planned. I've got a good friend named Dave Curlin who owns a company called Objective Management Group, and they basically have this like 27-point test to determine competencies for salespeople and for sales managers. And so it says call reluctance happens when a combination of these weaknesses appear in their sales DNA. Need to be liked, unable to recover from rejection, will not prospect, doesn't prospect consistently, procrastination, will not prospect as an automatic call reluctance, need to be liked with unable to recover or procrastination also equals call reluctance. And all of these above basically take you from being a hunter to a farmer. It says, as for the percentages, they reflect in the percent of salespeople strong in the hunter competency. Top 5% of salespeople, 96% hunter. Top 20%, 90% hunter. People who can basically get by, not do a great job, 71% hunter. Weak, 34% hunter, and bottom 10%, 6% hunter. Okay. So here's the thing. If you know, a lot of times it shows up like this, you know, I'm bothering them. Anybody ever think they're bothering somebody when they call them? Yeah. Okay. Right. It's too early to call. It's too late to call. They don't want to hear from me. Okay. Those are all signs of call reluctance, right? I mean, somebody raised their hand and said, hey, I want to buy a home. Hey, I want to sell a home. Well, you know what? You can call them. But here's the thing. If you don't believe that you know, either if you go into like freeze mode or you just procrastinate, you know, we'll give you hate calling people on Sunday. You want to find out why? I can help you find out in 10 minutes if you want to find out. No? Okay. You're gonna have to answer a couple of personal questions. Are you okay with that? You don't have to. I mean, okay, yeah, vulnerability is good. Everybody here will honor your vulnerability and cares about you. And it's kind of like when people are public speaking.
It's quiet. It's picking up a little bit with this weather, which is nice.
Okay, glad to hear it. Thank you. The weather is good. I agree. All right, so here's the thing. Let's talk. So Melanie, where are you from?
I'm from Santa Rosa Beach, Florida.
Okay, Florida, great. How was your parents' relationship with each other?
It was a very loving relationship.
Okay, so they never fought in front of you?
Not much, no, not that I remember.
Okay.
My
What was-
father died when I was 16.
Pardon me?
My father died when I was 16, so
Sorry,
I was
I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, my dad died when I was 23, so I appreciate that.
Mhm.
But other than that, did your parents protect you and shelter you and
yes,
yeah, okay, so basically they didn't really expose you to the world. They were like, we can't let anything bad happen to our Melanie,
I guess so, yeah.
right? And that's fine. And, you had parents who probably loved on you dearly, and when you did a great job, when you did a bad job, it's okay, right? You know what I'm saying? And so essentially they put you in a position where once you get outside of your comfort zone, things are not a whole lot of fun for you, right?
Right.
Were you ever bullied at school?
Not really, no.
Ever sexually, emotionally, or physically abused by anybody?
I would
You
say,
don't have to tell me. You don't have to tell me. You can just say one of them.
yes,
Friend or family member?
friend.
Okay. How old were you?
Gosh, I don't remember. I mean, I think it would be more verbal abuse from boyfriends or whatever.
Okay. Yeah, they probably wouldn't have. They probably would have just exacerbated it. Let me ask you a question. Were you raised Christian?
Yes.
Devout Christian? Like your parents were on you like a rat in a Cheeto about how you're going to conduct yourself?
Not really so much, but I
No?
mean, I think that's the thing about Sundays. It's like if I get a Boomtown lead or something like that,
Mhm.
and it's like in the morning, and I'm like, well, when am I going to call them? It's family day, it's church day,
Mhm.
and
Is that how you were raised? Is that how you were raised? Like Sunday's a Sabbath day, we're not doing anything?
pretty much, yeah, exactly.
and
There wasn't a
you-
lot of work. It was mainly family focused and church focused and things like that.
Okay.
So I feel rude.
Okay, so but and obviously I'm guessing the church was like that too. The church kind of whatever church you went to felt the same way. They kind of treated it the same way, at least
Yeah.
maybe the pastors and the leaders. Okay, so when you're a kid and they're saying, hey, you got to keep the Sabbath, and you know what I'm saying, and then your parents
Yeah.
are like, no, you can't go see friends, no, you can't go do this. I mean, your brain is trained to do that, right?
Well, I mean, it was pretty social and everything. I saw
Yeah.
friends and I saw family and everything like that. I guess
But
that's
no
why
work.
I feel bad about interrupting on a Sunday and
Okay.
calling people on
Yeah.
Sunday.
Right, so if you combined and I'm guessing you hate confrontation,
Right. Yeah.
Mhm.
I do.
like you'd rather, shave your eyeballs than do that?
Yeah.
Right, okay, so basically, you don't like confrontation, you don't want rejection, and then combine that with the fact that, in your mind, calling somebody on Sunday is bothersome. Why are you gonna call somebody on Sunday when everything inside of you basically realizes that if you called somebody on Sunday, somebody could yell at you, somebody could be mean to you, somebody could be hurtful to you, right?
Right.
Does that make sense? So, and that's pretty much the case, right? So that's why you don't want to call on Sunday, because, it was sacrosanct at your house. Nobody did any work. Your mom and dad poured themselves into your family and your friends. And so the church was also very strong on that. And then, your parents really didn't put you in position to learn how to take any arrows or bullets. And so those two things, between fear of rejection, fear of upsetting somebody because that's sacrosanct to you, means you're not going to call anybody on a Sunday. But does everybody think like you? Everybody thinks like you? Does
I-
everybody think like you?
No.
No, of course not.
Think
It's not a bad thing. It's good. It's good. We don't want people to think differently than we are, right? But, you've got to get to the point where you understand that, number one, when people reject you, it has nothing to do with you, right? You know that?
Okay.
Do you know that? I mean, I use this example all the time. Who here likes Brussels sprouts? Put a 2 in there if you like Brussels sprouts.
I like Brussels sprouts.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. With bacon. Okay, great. So we're at 40. Okay, so we're at 48. Okay, so 83. So another 40 plus of you like Brussels sprouts. You folks are officially dead to me. Okay. All right, listen, all right, that is not yummy. Oh, but why did somebody put bacon? Oh, let's crisp it up in oil and onions and bacon. We'll put seasonings and maple syrup on it. Like any food you have to do that much to taste good can't taste good, right? I probably could get the same result from a shoe. But here's the thing, okay, is that, you know, you like it. I don't. You like Brussels sprouts, Melanie?
Yes, I do.
I officially hate you too. Anyway, kidding. So the whole point is Melanie likes Brussels sprouts. I don't like Brussels sprouts. Okay. So here's the thing. Is it the Brussels sprout or is it us? Same Brussels sprout. You like them, I don't. What is it, the Brussels sprout or is it us? Say it.
It's us.
Yes, bingo, right? So we're all Brussels sprouts, right? Someone's going to like you or they're not going to like you, and it has nothing to do with you. Right? Exactly. Thank you. Right? Everybody, yeah, we don't like everybody and not everybody likes us. And so when you can get to the point when you realize, number one, that when people are giving you feedback, it's not usually, in most cases, when they say they don't like you, it's rare, stupid, dumb thing. It's rarely about you, right? Some people are going to like you, some people aren't. But if they reject you, it has nothing to do with you. They just don't like Brussels sprouts, and that's okay. Okay. But in order to get to the point, you need to go ahead and start working on what's going on inside and get to the point where you realize that, you know, literally you are good enough as you are, where you stand, with nothing to change. And that whether somebody likes you or not has zero to do with how good you are as a person or your approval. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Does that help?
Yes.
Okay. There you go. Thank you. Okay. So, yeah, no problem. Yeah, so I mean that's it, right? And I was nice about it, right? It's not mean, you know, but but this is the worst thing about it, okay, is that thank you, Janine. It's not going away on its own, and that's the hardest thing for people, right? More than half of you said that something happened when you were a kid that, you know, impacted you. Now, look, some people are fighters, you know, Lewis House, he talks about being sexually abused and having a tough childhood. And he, you know, he talks about how horrible it was, but he's like, I'm never going to let you hurt me again. Frank Shamrock, who was trained by Ken Shamrock in UFC, spent his life kicking the crap out of people. You know, his dad beat the crap out of him and his brother, and, you know, he went and fought. So some people are fighters, but the majority of people who get something that happens that triggers their childhood, we run. Okay. And then we continue to run and we continue to hide and we continue to avoid things, right? Lars said something very interesting about, hey, you can't hope that business is going to be better this year. Okay. I mean, look, I mean, I studied the real estate market pretty closely, the economy pretty closely. You know, the last time we sold as few houses as we did last year was in 1995. Okay. Long time. We'll probably end up with 4.3 million homes sold this year, which puts us back to 2012. And the worst thing about it is there were 1 million realtors in 2012. There's 1.572 million realtors now. Okay, only a slightly bigger pie, but a lot of people vying for that. And in addition to needing to be an expert, you've got to go take, as Cliff Freeman would say, your unfair share of things. And the only way you're going to do that is to talk to people and have a relationship with them and get them to be willing to talk to you instead of somebody else. And if you are not comfortable with who you are, if you don't like rejection, if you are afraid of the phone, if you're afraid of any of that stuff, it's not going to happen for you. And I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not trying to be defeatist, right? But that's, and here's the thing. If you have any sort of reluctance, go back and look at the years that you had. I'm willing to bet that when the real estate market was good, you did well. And when the real estate market wasn't good, you didn't do well. And you really just looked at it as like, okay, how do I change it? How do I change it? And now you're buying lead programs. You're trying ISAs who are from Botswana, trying to schedule appointments for you. Right? You change real estate brokerages 4 times, you pay for coaching programs, right? I mean, you do anything except for the one thing you need to do, which is to work on this. Does that make sense? That's it. You know what I'm saying? And so it's hard. It's scary. You know what I'm saying? Nobody wants to go up into the attic of their mind and start cracking open boxes and remember when they got the crap kicked out of them or when, you know, I mean, here's the thing. Your brain remembers everything you've ever seen, touched, tasted, heard, or smelled. 6th grade, so I'm 6 years old, 1st grade, Broad Street Elementary School. The kids bringing the milk. Anybody do the milk thing when they were kids? Somebody got lucky to go get the milk crate and bring the milk back to class. Okay, I'm old. I get it. So here's the point. You bring the milk back to class, right? And so I get my milk and I crack open my lunchbox and I eat my snack. And then I eat my other snack. And then I eat my sandwich and I eat my crackers and I eat my apple at 10 o'clock in the morning, and I had no food for the rest of the day. because since I had been free for the last 3-4 years, you know, food was used as a punishment and a reward, but mostly a punishment. So does that make sense? And so now, mind you, I have a binge eating disorder at the age 6, and I'm just learning how to deal with it at the age of 51, which is a few years ago. And it didn't dawn on me until, you know, I hit rock bottom that, oh my God, something's got to change. My hope for everybody is that they don't have to hit rock bottom, and they can use whatever experience of things not working the way they want to now, so they can use it as the leverage that they need to get what they want, the results they want. Is that fair? So I kind of, you know, I want to say a little R&D, a little come up with myself. I kind of came up with a little 5-step process if you guys want to write it down. So here's the thing, you know, the first thing and most important is that you got to become aware of what's causing it. Again, a Tony Robbins quote, I'm a big TR fan. I know Lars is too, but you know, he says it's okay to go back and find out why you did something, but just don't stay mired in that emotion. I call it, you know, it's okay to go there, just don't stay there. Okay. Like part of the problem is we've just been ignoring these emotions or avoiding them or sticking them down for so long that it's so easy for us to pass them by. Some of you, if you have call reluctance, it's time to call. The next thing you know, you're like, oh my God, the garage is so dirty. I haven't called my mom in a week. Oh my God, I got to refold all these clothes. I got to wash these dishes. Ooh, I got to move all this stuff around my desk. My car's dirty. You know what I'm saying? I can't go because I don't know my scripts. It's like, I don't even think about it. But what happens is there's emotions that come up. In fact, there's a physiological response with every emotion that happens. Happiness, sadness, anger, ecstasy, whatever. There's a physical response. It's just that most of the time, because most of us live in a spectrum of 4 to 8 emotions, most of which are negative, we just don't even pay attention and we just let them go. Okay. What's that, Stacey? You manage, I rearrange, I rearrange my entire home at least 2 times a month. That might be just more an OCD issue than related to prospecting. And I help with that too, by the way. So, you know, or maybe you're in the witness protection program and you're trying to hide from the police. You don't want them to see your room twice. Who knows? Anyway, so what happens is the first thing we've got to probably see all of the above. So we've got to, by the way, Stacy's maiden name is Zweifel, which means doubt. So that should help you understand some things, right? We had a good laugh about that a few years ago. So here's the thing. Step 1 is awareness. Like, where's this all coming from? Okay. Now look, while I've been talking, I know some of you have been handed a bunch of crap from your brains already. Put a 1 in here and put a 3 in the chat. If like, oh my God, things about my childhood started popping up when I was remembering them as you were talking, they were being fed to me without me asking for them. Okay. Now, so here's the thing. We have to go back and look and get our head around it, because if you don't know what's causing it, then you can't solve it. So that's like, it can't, you don't go to the doctor's office and the doctor says, hey, and you say, hey, listen, my head hurts. And the doctor doesn't say, oh, you know what, let's operate. No, like ask all kinds of questions, finds out the root cause. We've got to find out the root cause of what caused this reluctance, this whatever in your life. Now, once we figure that out, the next thing is to be situationally aware of what happens. Okay, right before you're about to go make a phone call or do something that you're uncomfortable with, you will get a signal from your brain. So for me, based on what's happening, I'd be pushing my toes into the bottom of my shoes. I'd be tightening my chest. I'd tighten my shoulder. I'd tighten my neck. I'd force air out of my lungs. I know that when that's happening, something's going on. But now I just say to myself, what's going on? My subconscious feeds it to me and it's gone. So what happens is you become aware of when it happens, and then you identify it. This is anxiety. You define it. This is what happens when I go do things where I feel like I'm not going to be liked or approved of. And then you work on mindfulness, okay? Mindfulness is just focusing on what's happening right now. If I think about getting on the phone and getting rejected, fear is going to kick in, right? If I think about all the horrible calls I've had in the past where I got hurt or yelled at or whatever, depression, sadness, and whatever kicks in. But if I'm focusing on right now, just focusing on my breathing, I can't focus on those things. So the easiest way to become mindful is to do square breathing, which is, in for 4, hold for 4, out for 4, hold for 4, right? We talked about fight or flight, rest and digest. The only way to get out of fight or flight is to start breathing and chill your body out. So it's just in for 4, hold for 4, out for 4, hold for 4. Step 3 is you got to start rewiring your brain. Okay. Here's the thing. The same process that got you to the point where you're not living your life at the fullest, where you're not getting the results out of your business that you want, where you're living in, anguish or frustration or anxiety every day is the same process you're going to use to get out of it. And the best thing I could recommend to you would be to get Hal Elrod's book, The Miracle Morning. Okay. He just wrote an updated version of it. It's a lot longer. You don't need to get it, but I would get it because it's rituals of affirmations and journaling and visualization and exercise. Get somebody here. Can you mute everybody, please, Lars? Sorry.
Yep.
Thanks. And so what happens is you've got to start telling your things good stuff. We say the nastiest, meanest things to ourselves. Oh, I'm so stupid. Man, I'm not good at this. I knew I was going to do that. I hate this. I hate that. I hate myself when I do that. Your brain hears all that and it's making note of it. Oh, hey, oh yeah, okay, right? Like, you know, I think a good policy is anything you wouldn't say to a kid, you shouldn't say to yourself. You'd never tell a kid they were stupid or lazy or they weren't good something. You know, our brains deserve the same thing. So you got to get into the activities. Somebody said, great book. Yeah. You know, it's an hour a morning, 10 minutes of journaling, 10 minutes of meditation. I like the mindful movement on YouTube. It's a really good one. Then 10 minutes of journaling, 10 minutes of affirmations, 10 minutes of exercise, 10 minutes of reading. Every day it's an hour. I'm telling you what, if you do it regularly, it's going to about 2 weeks, you'll notice some changes. And then the next thing is just figuring out what drives you. I'm going to tell you I'm going to tell you kind of a personal story here. When I started my business several years ago, what did you do to get rid of procrastination? What I'm telling you, the process that I'm talking about right now. So here's the thing, like a lot of people have trouble figuring out what their why is and what they want in life. I run up against people all the time. I have no idea what I want. I'm having trouble figuring out what my why is. Yeah, so it's 10 minutes of, he calls it savers. So scribing or journaling, affirmations, visualizations, exercise, reading, and then meditation, silence. If you go online and Google savers, there's 4 million things, there's videos. Okay. So anyway, my son, it's 2008, 19, 20, 2020. My son at the time, who is now, at the time was 16, 17. When was he born? 2004. 20, he's about 16. Said, hey, Al, come work with me in my business. He said, sure. So as any good father and coach would be, I would say, hey, so I want you to write down 10 things you want to accomplish. And he had told me he likes steak. He wanted to go to Pierre Luger's. He wants to own a home up in New Hampshire by the lake because he hates the heat. And so he sat there for an hour and couldn't come up with one thing. And I'm like, what is going on? And so I have a friend named Tara Halliday. She's a imposter syndrome expert out of England. She works with C-level people who, despite their success, do not believe that they're worthy of anything. And so we talked about this for a long time. And basically what we came away with is that when you experience trauma as a child, your brain spends most of your life helping you run away from or avoid that fear. Is that fair? And so while your brain is protecting you from all this crap that's going on, it really can't think about the future and what you want and what your why is, because it's not really open to that. Plus, if your self-esteem is having issues, then you know you don't think you're even worthy of it. Okay. So look, you know, my childhood was a train wreck, you know, but I really screwed my kids up for a while too. I mean, I spent a year away from my family. My kids and I, my ex-wife and I told my kids that we were getting divorced at the same time. I told them I was going away for a year. My son was bullied in school. He got beat up by some sophomore when he was in 8th grade. And so we were at Disney World in 2018, 17. Anyway, I think something like that. We were at Disney World and, you know, we were watching the fireworks at Epcot. When we were done, I was looking at my son's phone and I thought he had like Snapchat and then Instagram on there, and his mom said, no way. And so I had to support that. I'm like, what's on your phone? He says, nothing. I said, give me your phone. We found it. I said, when we go back to the Airbnb, you're getting punished. You're going to bed. He goes, no, I'm not. I said, yeah, sure. He says, that's okay. I'll just kill myself. I'm like, okay, Disney is no longer what do they call the happiest place on earth for me? And I said, come on, Al, don't do that. Don't say it. He goes, I've already tried. I go, what? He goes, yeah, I already tried. I go, what do you mean? He says, yeah. He says, a couple of months ago, I tried to kill myself. Fortunately for us, he didn't know that a bottle of Tylenol would not kill him. And so anyway, we took him back. I called the suicide hotline, took him to the hospital. He kept saying, I want to die. I want to die. I want to die. And so we spent the night in the hospital. By the way, anybody live in Florida here? If you live in Florida and you have somebody you know that is having tough time emotionally, do not bring them to the emergency room, because the doctors can decide to stick them into a mental health center and drug their ass for 3 days. So anyway, so basically Alex, yeah, the Baker Act, thank you. So Alex basically, was in a rough shape mentally. He'd been cutting and stuff. So by the time, we hadn't cleared all that stuff up, so he just couldn't think about anything. So that's why step number 4 is let's figure out what drives you. Now that we've cleaned out some of this crap and we've got cracks of light that we're letting in, a possibility and good things happening, and we're not worried about the fear as much, let's think about what drives you. I'm a big fan of Daniel Pink's books, Daniel Pink's book, Drive. He talks about 3 things that keep you motivated. One is autonomy. We talk about time freedom, location freedom, financial freedom. The 3 things that just about every real estate agent wants, especially if you're at EXP. You know what I'm saying? And then that's autonomy. What does my life look like when I'm living the life that I want, when I can come and go as I please? It's available to all of us. Secondarily is mastery. What do I have to master in order to make things happen? These things happen for everybody. One of the things you have to master is emotional management, right? You've got to limit your emotional reactivity, because once you get emotionally involved and excited, you make bad decisions. I could write a book just on that alone. And then the last thing is what's your why? And we figure out what your why is. Okay. And if you had trouble thinking about your why, once you do all the cleaning and work up, then you can start thinking about what you want. What's his name? Simon Sinek, I think he put it best. His formula for the why is the best. Number 1 is, it's rooted in some sort of pain, right? You need that leverage, right? That pain is what's going to serve you, because you want to use that pain as the deterrent from giving up or not doing what you're supposed to be doing, right? Most of us get to, oh, this is overwhelming, I'm just going to bolt. When really, when it gets overwhelming, you're like, okay, wait a second. So like for me, my parents, I'll go through the whole thing, Josh. My parents never taught me to protect myself. My parents never talked to me about money. I've literally blown $5 million in my lifetime. At least $5 million, okay? I was making a couple $100,000 a year living paycheck to paycheck. I was so bad with money, because part of it was an emotional problem. Part was a knowledge problem. So, I'm working with my kids. All my kids have debit cards. The 3 oldest ones have credit cards. When they got paid, we looked at their paycheck. I'm like, you got to take 10% and not touch it. I said, you got to pay your, basically everything you're going to do, you're going to get out of your paycheck before you see it. All right, let's try and live on half of the money that you have coming in, so you always have money. Because I never had money. I talked with my son the other day, got his first job. We're going to look at his first paycheck. He wants to get his own apartment. We're going to do the math. That. And so for me, I'm making sure I take the time to do that, and that I do a good job with my money, so I don't leave my kids with the $10,000 my dad left my mom from life insurance when she still had 3 kids. Okay. Anyway, so again, first step is awareness. You want to know why you have call reluctance? When you go home tonight, when you go home later on, just take out 2 note cards or cut a piece of paper in half and just write on it, what is it that's causing my call reluctance? Or what is it that's causing my procrastination or perfectionism, or whatever it is? Why do I keep dating the same people? Doesn't matter. Ask them all. Put it on both cards or both pieces of paper. Keep one with you and read it. Put the other one next to your nightstand. Tomorrow morning, you'll know. I ask you, please don't call me tonight at 2:30 in the morning and say, fuck you, Wally. Because that's happened on more than one occasion, because, you're going to, pardon me for swearing, but that's what's going to happen. And some of it's going to be like, I forgot about this, but thanks to you, I now realize it. Okay, by the way, how many people have trouble going to sleep or staying asleep? Yep. Yeah. Okay. Most of that's because you have an active brain. And when you go to bed at night, your brain is processing things, trying to put, boxes and putting ideas and thoughts and make sense of things. And when it can't make sense of things, when it can't process stuff, it drops it on the floor. It eventually keeps getting dropped on the floor. And then the cart or that keeps bumping into it, saying, hey, we got to deal with this. We got to deal with this. So one's global awareness. The second one is awareness, define, identify, and then situational awareness means when that feeling comes up. Exactly, right? Well, I can make that go away in 2 months if you want, Tom. But the whole point is, you've got to, as soon as the awareness of something bothering you comes up, you got to jump into it with both feet and start processing it. Number 3 is rewire your brain. Number 4 is, what is number 4? Number 4 is find out what drives you, like what's really driving you, what's important for autonomy and mastery. And then lastly, what's your why? And so if you do that and you work on it, all of this will go away for good, because your brain has no choice but to do what you tell it to do. Your brain's not in charge. all that crap, all that BS that got in there over the last 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years, your brain's just doing what you tell it to do, right? As soon as you tell your brain that, hey, when these things happen, we don't get anxious about it, your brain's like, okay. And eventually it does it for you. You don't even get triggered by things anymore. You know, you start telling yourself that you're worthy and worthwhile and good and that you love yourself. The next thing you know, you're more worried about what you think of other people than what other people think of you, right? Like, should I be spending time with this knucklehead? You know, and then your peace comes about you, and, you know, the next thing you're sleeping well. And it's not like, it's kind of like losing weight. Anybody ever lose like more than 20, 30 pounds? It's not like you're like, oh, I can see my shelf shrinking. One day you put on a pair of pants, you're like, geez, these are loose. That's kind of how it happens. Like something would normally trigger you, happens, and you're like, that didn't bother me. And that's what it looks like. It's just a process. I got time for a couple of questions if you have any questions.
Yeah, we've got about 5 minutes left, Wally. Now, I want to give you a chance just to leave kind of a way to get in touch with you. And,
Yeah,
and if you've been
sure.
around this community for a while, you guys know that I guard it against anyone that has anything to pitch or anything like that. I've just been more aware of this unique sort of challenge that so many of you have, that Wally and I have kind of had a chat before this around an opportunity to work with him. And
So is it okay if I share it?
yeah, for sure.
So here, and thank you for letting me do this. Like, my goal, you know, my why, one of my whys is to make sure that nobody ever has to hit rock bottom again. Am I on YouTube? Yeah, I've got a YouTube channel. I've got a podcast. You can find me if you Google Wally Bressler. There'll be more than you can shake a stick at, unfortunately. So, but here's the thing: I want, you know, I just want to help people, and the money is not the issue. So if you don't have money, I can still work with you. So normally the class is, it's an 8-week class. We work together once a week for an hour in a group format. I take you through the steps of this, all the stuff I just talked about. I take you through all those steps. Plus I work with you one-on-one in between calls. If you need to be talked down from the ledge, you're having a tough time, or if I'm sitting there looking at you during class and you look like you're going to melt, I will call you and be like, what's going on? I'll be there to encourage you. You get homework every class that you work on. And then so and here's the thing: if you take the class, I will guarantee you that in 2 weeks, in 3 weeks actually, in 3 weeks you will be feeling better than you ever had, just because we're going to be working on things. You'll start sleeping better. Things won't trigger you as much. And I'm not making any promises, but I've had people get on the phone as quickly as like 2 weeks. Okay. So anyway, that being said, so it's 8 weeks, group format. I do group format because we need to realize that other people are going through, we're going through. You get homework every week. We figure out what your why is. We figure out what drives you. You know, we clean up all that crap. And then what happens is at the end of the 8 weeks, if you feel like you need to take it again, there's no cost. Normally the class is $2,500 a person, but because of Lars and my relationship with him, I'm willing to do it for $500 a person. And I'll even break it into 2 payments of $250 for you. And if you really don't have the money, then you can give me $50 and we can work out the rest. Okay. Like, you have to pay something, you know what I'm saying? I need to get something from you so you can make the commitment. But the thing is I just want to help you. So, you know, there's no reason for you to ever have to deal with any of this crap again if you don't want to. And I'll work on any arrangement with you that you need me to make it work for you. But if you want to take control of not just because the thing is, it changes a lot of stuff in your personal life too. It has nothing to do with prospecting. Okay. But if you want to take advantage of the class, I don't know what to do, Lars, how to do this. I put my email, my text, my phone number. And the next, I'm going to create the next class around you guys and try and keep all of you together. Okay. So I sent you my cell phone number. I sent you my email address. I sent you my calendar link. I try and keep classes to 10 people or 12 people. So I'm happy to do as many classes as possible, but, let me know. And what I'll do is I'll create an email to give to Lars so you can send it to everybody. And then we can go from there. Okay. I hope this was helpful for you all.
Yes,
you know,
super helpful.
Thank you. Like, here's the thing, like, you have to decide that you're fed up with the way things are going, or your brain, everything else is going on. It's going to take you there, and it's just going to be a lot worse when it does. And I'm not trying to be pushy. I'm not trying to use scare tactics. I just know what I went through and what I've seen other people go through. And if you don't deal with this, it's just really going to get worse. And eventually you're going to have to deal with it. Okay. Thank you for all your time, everybody. Shoot me a text, shoot me an email, grab some time on my calendar. I'll send Stacy and Lars an email where you guys can let me know some stuff. And then again, money is not an issue here. We'll make it work, okay?
Awesome. I appreciate your heart,
Thanks,
brother,
guys.
and
you
sharing.
guys.
So yeah, just modeling transparency. You never know what people have been through and what they're going through, so just appreciate you sharing, Wally. All right, guys, we
Appreciate
are
you guys.
out.
Thank you.
Yep. Reach out to Wally, grab his contact
Thank you.
information, and we'll talk to you guys next week. We've got the social media mastermind, a little bit lighter of a topic. This might have been heavy for some of you, but next week we'll do, we've got some agents coming on that are crushing social media in their business, and we're going to share it with you. So we'll see you next week. Much love and respect. Keep doing the work. We'll talk to you guys next week. Bye-bye.